Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I thought that I forgot about this. I did not. I did not forget about this. I could never forget about this. I was literally meeting with a tenant to talk about exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because holy cow and hallelujah, it was a day. It has been a 48 hours of hell. But you know what? This is landlording, guys. So I'm so psyched you guys were all hanging out, chatting with each other. Hit that like, encourage Matt to start the show. Well done, Hyder. Appreciate you guys. Holy cow. It was a horrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Very bad 2 days. It's been brutal. I'm so excited to be with you guys. It's just, oh my goodness. It's just crazy. It was one heck of a 48-hour period. We're going to talk about things called cold sink. We're going to talk about split pipes. We're going to talk about heating systems. We're going to talk about everything that pertains to horribly bad weather. How was the damage? The damage, Robert Farinelli, thank you for the super chat. All in all, I think I'm probably going to be across all 137 units, and 49 buildings. I think we're probably going to be about probably $5,000 to $7,000 is all it's going to cost. Sorry, I literally ran in from a tenant meeting and actually a meeting with the plumbers. So yours truly, I was in the field last night. I was in the field from 6 p.m. until I finally crawled into bed at about 2 a.m. And yeah, not showered either. I was exhausted. I didn't have the time for a shower. I was likely going to collapse in the shower. Guys, this is the rough stuff, man. When you are a self-managing landlord, it is awesome. It is really absolutely awesome. I love it. I love getting my hands dirty. My hands are actually kind of swollen. You see, they're red, really red. That is, I was working with cold water. I was working with water, period. We had at one property, we had, 9 breaks. We had nine. That's the most I've ever had in a single storm. And this building had nine breaks. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Guys, it was just, yeah. But anyway, guys, honestly, I love being a landlord. I really do. I'm really good at this stuff. You guys will get good at it too if you're in my course. I love doing this. And so, yeah, we had 9 breaks in one building. We had 2 in another. We had one in another. We had 2 freeze ups with no breaks. But yeah, I mean, it affected about 10% of my buildings. Yeah, 10%. Yeah. And CJ, yeah, pro press for the win. So, you're going through it when you're sitting there with so it was, what ends up happening is when you have a line break, and your pipe bursts. So you go in, it's what's called sectioning the pipe. You snip it on both sides of the break, give it a little bit of clearance to make sure that there's not like a micro fracture. So I like to do typically like at least an inch on this side of the break, at least an inch on this side of the break. So that way, in most cases, your break is usually, it's either a pinhole or it might be an inch or inch and a half. So usually you're sectioning out 3, 4, 5 inches of piping. If I've got a piece or I've got enough and I'm not trying to conserve, usually it's a 5 to 6 inch that I'll cut out. We got to the point where on the last 2 that we had to do, the plumber looks at me, goes, better not be another break. I go, why? He goes, I only have 2 more couplings. I said, what? He goes, we went through 2 boxes of 1 inch pro press couplings. Oh man. So guys, it was insanity on a whole new level. I've never seen that much work having to be done that close. It was absolutely unbelievable. Um, but guys, it's landlording. It's like the way it goes. And people are like, oh, I feel so bad for you. Don't. I look at my bank account and recognize that in order to get that bank account, I got to do stuff like this, because there's guys out there that have property managers, and that's fine. I'm not against that. I teach in my course how you get rid of them, because they keep half your money. They keep half your money. They say, oh, it's only 8% of the gross. Yeah, that means if you're making 16%, they're keeping half your money. What if you're making 12%? Then they're keeping about 60% or 70% of your money. So don't cry for me, Argentina. I had an absolute blast. It was great to work in the field with my guys. One of them's newer to the company. He's just like, so you're in the field, huh? And I was like, yeah, like, have you put the math together? You've been with me a year and a half, and I've been doing this for 22 years. I've been in the field a lot. But yeah, guys, it just mindset wise, it's fun. Like, you got to make it fun. You can look at something and laugh and know it's going to cost thousands of dollars. Like, I'm grossly manicured. I got dirt underneath my fingernails. You'll see pictures. I'll post them on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, Lumberjack Landlord on Instagram, or at Lumberjack Landlord on Instagram, check those pictures out, because I'm going to post pictures of the pandemonium, of the carnage, of the wreckage, of the nightmare that was our night. Like I said, climbed into bed a little bit after 2. But holy cow, it was. Can you speak about your mindset regarding pipe breaks? I'm a new landlord and that scares the crap out of me. Yeah. Can you speak the normal process on how to get fixed? Yeah, absolutely. So we'll cover more of that. But guys, be encouraged. Landlording is hard. That's not why everybody does it. But holy cow, after you do it for 3 to 5 years, you see a whole lot newer stuff. It becomes kind of like the same song. It's not exactly the same song, but they usually tend to rhyme. And so here's what I can tell you. I'm with you, James. True transparency. In the beginning, pipe breaks used to keep me awake at night. When it would get really cold, I would get so unbelievably nervous. And I would just sit there and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do if a pipe breaks? It's going to cost thousands. Like, guys, like, this is like legit. This is like, I've slept 9 hours in 3 days. Yeah, but I wasn't going to miss this. Ashley was like, take a nap. I was like, nah, it's Sunday live stream. And so it used to scare the daylights out of me. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, it's only stuff. At the end of the day, you find out that you have a break and you jump in and you take care of it. And it just is what it is. In the Northeast, a lot of homes have copper piping. Some of them even have brass. We found some brass piping last night. And I said to people, I said, the really funny thing is that they haven't used brass piping like that for probably 60 years. And I said, think about that. In 60 years, that pipe hasn't had to be touched. 60 years. And that's if it was like at the tail end of brass being used. 60 years. So think about that. I said, imagine. And I said, and now we're touching it, right? Like, how romantic. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a weirdo. I think that's just unbelievably just awesome. It's just so, like, guys, if I could even begin to tell you, it got minus 47 wind chill here. I walked outside and my freaking face hurt. Like, and usually it kills other people, but hold on one second. Oh, look at that. So as you can tell, I have guys in the field today. Interesting. Wow. So just that. We're trying to get everybody back up and going. Now, we got that entire building back up and going last night, 6 hours, 3 guys. And real quick, guys, the tradesmen that we work with, you got to take care of those people. Like, I'm going to get a bill from both of them. I gave them a bonus this morning. I said, hey, before you even send me the bill, I just want to make sure. And I bonused them $500 each. I bonused them $500 each because I could not have done that by myself. They helped us get tenants back up and going. A business is going to be able to open Monday. People are going to be able to sleep and have their dog roaming around the house. Guys, man, take care of your people. Take care of your people. But the mindset around a broken pipe is It is what it is. Likely where a broken pipe's going to happen, they're going to happen in chases, which is where you have pipes going from the first floor to the second floor. They're going to happen in chases. They're going to happen by exterior windows in the basement. They're going to happen anywhere you have a draft. If you want to do yourself a favor, walk around your basement rim joist. The rim joist is the rim of all your joists that sits on top of the foundation. It's basically that exterior wall. Walk your hand by all of that on a cold day and see if you get any drafts. See if you have any temperature coming in that way. If it's a small little pinhole, easy to manage. We just put some great stuff in the little hole. If it feels like you're getting like real air movement, again, use the great stuff where you can, but then take a bat of R30 and wedge it in there. Get some Roxol R30 stuff. I did a review on my channel about it on the Lumberjack Landlord product reviews, but wedge that thing in there. That Pro Press plumber tool, holy cow, guys, that thing performs. So I know I'm all over the place. I got a few hours of sleep. I just want to, share the journey with you. Plumber looks at me and he goes, we've used all the fittings. He goes, I had 2 boxes of fittings. You used them all. He goes, we can't find another break. Every single time we would repair a break, we would repressurize the system because everything was hidden up behind 4 ceilings, sheetrock ceiling, then a wood timber frame. Then there was a drop ceiling metal frame. Then there was like this older cardboard wafer board type of stuff. And then there was another layer on top of that. Unstinking believable. So when we got up in there, we had to cut through 4 ceilings because guess what? The pipe that was an issue was on top of those 4 ceilings. When we get up there, we see that there's a draft. So they've taken basically a foot of ceiling height out of that depth. They've taken a foot of ceiling height out of that depth. The next time that tenant moves out, we're ripping all of those ceilings out. We're going to go all the way back up to the original ceiling so we can properly insulate and do all that stuff because they just put layer on layer on layer on layer of ceiling. And now we are where we are. But be encouraged. Don't be afraid of the pipe breaks. They're going to happen, especially in cold climates. But the things that you can do to save yourself from them is you want to make sure that you're doing rim joist stuff. You want to make sure that you're putting in great stuff where you see any cracks in the foundations, not cracks in like concrete foundations, but cracks in like old granite block foundations. You want to make sure you're filling that stuff. And then chases that are going up. And then honestly, when we're going to have a minus, I didn't know it was going to be that bad. I thought it would be like -10, like fine, whatever. But then when you added all the wind chill onto it, it was -47. Guys, there's no system that's meant to keep up with those. There just isn't. There's nothing that's meant to keep up with that. Who would design a system that way? It'd be twice the price. So the big thing is the building envelope. Make sure you're well insulated. Make sure you have your rim joist taken care of. Make sure that if you know that a pipe has ever burst before or ever popped before, that's what we call them, being popped. If it's ever happened before, get some heat tape. I'm going to do a review on some heat tape for you guys because we use 3 different kinds, but I'll do one for you guys on heat tape where I can show you how to do it properly. And make sure that the thermostat's properly exposed. Make sure that there's no overlapping in the coils and things like that. But we'll show you how to do that to make sure that you guys are in good shape moving forward. So yeah, James, don't sweat it. They're going to happen. Pops are going to happen. Pinholes are going to happen. And when they do, the thing is just to be prepared. I did a review on my series. You guys should check out the link. It's Lumberjack Landlord Review Series. That's why the Pro Cutting Tool is critical. You can get away with only having a Pro Cutting Tool and using a shark bite to fix a temporary solution. I buy the Pro Press because I want to be done forever. The Pro Press is a $2,000 to $3,000 tool. 99% of landlords don't need it. I do it because once we've got the hole open, I might as well finish the job. It's only another 10 seconds or 10 minutes, if you will, to finish the job. But if you're a newer landlord and you want to spend $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 on tools, buy the Pro Cutter tool that I have. It's only about $120. Milwaukee makes it. I've got a link on the channel. You can get it right on Amazon with a battery, but that's what I use. And that made cutting those pipes very quick, very quick. It was literally hold pipe, get up there, spin, 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 cut. Hold pipe, get up there, spin, 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 cut. The piece would fall right out into the claw and I could go right in there and I could pro press it and boom, we were done. So it was absolutely unbelievable. We went through the plasterboard of the drywall. We ripped through a plaster ceiling, a lathe board ceiling. We ripped through a temporary ceiling, and these were all one ceiling. These were all in one room. But as far as like the old plaster and things like that go, I just figure out what that thickness of plaster is. And then, I'll maybe put a 1/4 inch. It depends. It really depends. Sometimes I'll have the plaster repaired. Other times, in all honesty, I'll just go through and I'll rip all the plaster down, leave all the lathe board in, and then we'll just re-sheet rock that ceiling. Or we've also done it where we've just Luaned that ceiling with no sheetrock, no plaster. We've just put Luan up and then put strips of Luan on to basically to give us a nice finished wood look. We've done that too. Oh, super chat. Infamous NYC, looking to buy a multifamily on an FHA loan, looking at 4 to 5 unit in Allentown, PA. Okay, cool. Should I go turnkey or fixer upper to bring rents up to market? Average rent $1,100 to $1,500 place, renting $800 on units with month to month, no lease. Here's what I would tell you. If you go a turnkey, so this is what I teach in my course. You can go both ways. Either one's fine. You can buy turnkey, you can buy fixer upper. If you buy fixer upper, you better make sure that you've taken a course like mine and that you've been in a boot camp where you understand all the things you're going to encounter when you start to rehab those units. There's also 5 or 6 things that you should do in your units, and there's a bunch of things that likely you can avoid. Gut rehabs, I wouldn't do those if it's one of your first ones or newer ones. I wouldn't go that way. I don't think FHA will do a 5 unit. Maybe they will, but I'm pretty sure they won't. I'm pretty sure they won't do a 5. I know they'll do a 4. But then that's the 4-3-2-1 strategy that I have, the 4-3-2-1 Lumberjack strategy. All that stuff is channels that are available there. Infamous, I won't take everybody through it, but me personally, it really depends on what your idea of landlording is. I can tell you in almost every case that you're going to make a lot more money doing fixer uppers than you are in buying turnkey. Turnkey, everybody else in the market can just walk in and stroke a check with a deposit. Fixer uppers, they take a certain level of skill. They take a level of education. They take a level of preparedness. It's a bigger investment in yourself because you have to have done it before. You have to have known it before. Like, talk to any of the guys that are in my course. They will tell you, I guarantee you, they will tell you that after a week of taking classes in my course, that they are infinitely more prepared than they were previously to understand construction, to understand the makeup of a unit, to understand even decorating your unit, even the upgrades that you should be doing. These are all the things that I focus on to help landlords take non-turnkey properties and make them better and get value add out of them. But also all the data is in there for how you manage your tenants if you're just buying turnkey. So what I would tell you is, me personally, I much rather buy a fixer upper. I much rather buy a fixer upper. Nothing crazy if you're newer, but if you're newer to the game and it's like, hey, this stuff is dated, and we can do the 5 most recommended upgrades by the Lumberjack Landlord, and we can actually get better rents, or we can even go to like housing or Section 8. That's to me, that's a better use of capital. That's what I would do. You have to assess that on yourself to really understand like what your goals are. Oh, hold on. Plumber. No, they're another further up. I thought it was. Yeah, figured. So we had a chase, and a chase. So there's a chase that came up from the basement. Basements are colder basements. It actually came up through the basement. The chase is basically the shower. It's the back side of the showers, top and bottom, first floor unit, second floor unit, both shower mixing valves, both had broken elbows into them, both of them. So that went up 5 feet and create a problem. And then it went up another 8 feet from there. So 13 feet. So we had that one chase 13 feet up, got cold enough for pipes to burst. That's how crazy this storm was. Okay. Link to course. Oh, Thank you. Thank you all nighter. I appreciate you posting that. Angel R, in your course, you talk about keypad lock without turning nut. Which do you recommend? There's two. There's one that is on my channel, which is the quick set digipad lock. That one I've liked. Although recent quality, we just got a shipment of those, and I don't know if it's a quality control issue or what, but I'd say 2 out of 12 of those didn't work very well. So we've actually started using a, there's one from Defiant. If you look at Millennial Mike, on Instagram, he shows a picture because I bought him some. They were a gift to him. But you look at, and he shows the ones that I sent him, and those are actually really good and they're not bad. I think I got them. I want to say they were either Walmart or Home Depot. There, you can't walk into a Walmart and get them. You have to order them, but Walmart has more products available than anybody in the world. And so you can get them off of their Angel. Let's see. Hyder. Is there Siberian rates pipe designed to be exposed to super cold weather, maybe double insulated? Nothing that I've seen. So nothing that I've seen product wise, because everything is fairly kind of standard. So you've got your PEX, and my preference is PEX over copper. PEX is more insulated. But what you really need to find, and the amount of time that these old homes with maybe no insulation or low insulation, they run copper right on that outside line. But what they would do is in the wintertime, they would usually leave their cabinets open so heat could get back there. But there's all sorts of goofy stuff like that they would do, like old steam, one pipe steam boiler systems. They were actually powerful enough to run and keep your house warm with the windows open if you wanted a nice cool breeze from outside, but you wanted the temperature of the room to be warm enough for everybody else. But yeah, guys, for those of you in the course, you guys are crushing it. I mean, we had, I think 80% of the course create their account within 2 days. 80% of you created your account within 2 days. Almost all of you have made good progress into the course. Redion, I don't know if you're still here. Redion's finished the course. He finished the course in 48 hours. Bro, awesome. You crushed it. And had great questions that he asked. I'm really excited for the boot camp. We had the lead guy who takes care of managing what's called our Mighty Network. We had him, he was gone since Thursday. He's back in the office Monday. You guys will see a note from the team basically giving us 3 options of when we can do, we're having to pick one time where we can do it over 12 weeks. And so we want to have kind of everybody weigh in on, the 3 time options, because we'll go an hour. We're set for an hour, guys. You know me. If we got to go an hour and a half, we'll go an hour and a half. I can't go much longer than that with any time that I pick, because I just don't have that much time in the schedule, but we'll go 90 minutes in those processes and spend good time together talking about the course and stuff. So I'm excited to do that with you guys. Dion talked financial freedom. There he is. If you hit the like button, an angel gets its wings. That's so true. So true. 48 watching, only 19 likes. Apparently you guys don't care about cold weather and saving lives. But that's okay. That's what I do. That's why I'm the Lumberjack landlord. But yeah, I'm pumped up. If you couldn't tell, man, I got almost no sleep and I got tons of energy. I'm super excited. We just had such a blast doing it. I love working with my guys in the field. The office stuff is more boring for me. And again, there's 1,000 courses out there. There's 1,000 courses out there on how to buy houses. There are no courses out there that teach you how to be a great landlord, teach you how to be a great operator. And now I'm finding my words being used all over the place. Like I saw a Bigger Pockets thing and it's just like, oh, well, operator this and operator that and operator. And I was like, whoa, stop watching my content, bro. Actually watch my content. It's cool. But being that operator, guys, is huge. I'm still getting calls from the bank. They're just like, hey, do you have any other deals coming? Not right now. Not right now. It was freezing outside and that sucked. Yeah, that was brutal, guys. That, man, tough weekend. Good morning, Ninja Vanish. All right, Farinelli. Let's see. WT, hit the like button, please. Yeah, thanks, guys. Dimitri G, are you still using American flooring? Yeah, I did. Yep, started out with Fresno Gray. Okay. Then they didn't have it. We switched to Utah gray. Now they don't have it either. Every time we switch, we have extra boxes we can't use. So the key to this is, so here's the challenge that we're having with supply chain. They go and they order 2 or 3 or 4 of those shipping containers worth of a given product. They marginally mark it up because they don't have warehouses and they don't have a bunch of salespeople. They literally have like an account manager that does what they do, period. And then it just sits in a warehouse and they ship them to 3 different warehouses or 4 different warehouses in the country. And then it sits there and then it just sells. Then they go to reorder it. And sometimes the mill's like, hey, we can't get this part of the product. We can't get this color. We can't get this. We can't get that. So that's all still supply chain issues because again, I think it's made in China and India, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I've seen boxes marked both, I believe. And so you will see that, you will find that. So what we do to combat that is we will actually buy 3,000 or 4,000 square feet and we'll put it somewhere, a storage container, a garage in one of the properties that we use, and we'll just put it there and then we'll work it down. Because a lot of apartments are 500, 600, 700 square feet. But then a house might be 1,100 square feet, but then you're not doing the whole house. So that way we know we can do 500, 600, 700 square feet. That means when we get down to like, 75 square feet or 3 boxes, because it's about 25 square feet a box, usually 22, 23 square feet a box. Then we actually just house that, because what you'll find is over the years, people will drop something and break it. People will scar it by dragging something that had a sharp edge across it. This allows you to be able to fix that floor and not replace the whole floor. So that's what I would tell you is we order just in bigger quantity. That way we can kind of down select. So if we do a house that's 1,100 square feet, but we have 2,000 square feet, we might use 1,250 or 1,300 square feet of product, but we'll use it in another apartment that we might have 500 or 600 square feet of. And we always leave a couple boxes of any product behind for any job. We leave it there in that building. That way, if we ever need to replace anything, boom, it's there. It's on site. We can take care of it. We've got it stocked, sitting there. Jeff M. How you doing, Jeff M? I'm feeling like real estate isn't for me. Houses are still selling 15 to 20% above list in 24 hours. WTF am I supposed to do? You can have $1 million or it doesn't matter if the numbers don't work. But it's crashing, Jeff. What do you mean, man? It's crashing. Houses are horrible to buy. Like, it's crashing. Listen, here's what I can tell you. I have worked with people, Jeff, 2 years. 2 years they didn't get a deal. And now they're actually getting a deal. Now, why are they getting a deal? Because they created a network. The big key for you is, I told you, I have a solution for you. You didn't call me. Just saying. We talked. We chatted. I have a solution for you. Didn't call me. I can fix your problem. It's out. They're out there. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, I will bet you that I can find a deal that gives you better returns than any deal that you found. I would bet you a stack of cash on that, because that's what I do. I know how to find those deals. I know you can. Show me a crash. Infamous, my man. That's exactly what I'm saying. Show me a crash. I want to see a crash. Some bonehead on Facebook last night was like, this metro has collapsed 38%. I was like, no, it hasn't. He's like, yeah, yes, it has. I was like, no, it hasn't. It's not down 38%. Nothing is down 38%. Nothing, literally nothing, unless you're talking stock. I said, there's plenty of stocks down 30, 40, and 50%, but no housing is down 38. And I said, so give me the zip code. He's like, oh, well, it's not a zip code. It's actually development. Oh, so a development has crashed because some idiots went in there and way overpaid. And now that's not the market anymore because they're not buying at 3%. They're buying at 6%. Yeah. Poser. I was just like, yeah, you've been exposed. Next. So, yeah, Jeff, hit me up, man. I put time in, no joke, legit for you. Because we've talked, we have relationship. I put time in for you. I came up with a strategy that I know will work for you. And then when it works for you, then we're going to share it with other people, because I want to make it work for somebody else other than me. It worked for me. I've already done it. I just bought a house for $165,000, 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 165 grand. And you know what? The median house sells for where I am, 400K. So how did I buy a house for less than half of median? This is what we do, guys. This is what you do. When you're 20 years in, you're a better player than the guys at 1 year. It's math. However, it's not to say that if you listen to the 20-year guys, that you can't get there a whole lot faster. I want all you guys to get faster. That was the purpose of the course. I want you guys to get there faster. I want you guys to get to elite landlording like I am, but I didn't want you to have to go through the millions of dollars of lessons I had to learn. Millions of dollars, bad employees, bad contractors. You don't think I've been ripped off by a contractor? Hell yeah, I was. You don't think I bought a product that ended up being complete shit? Hell yeah, I did. You don't think that I bought a tool where I was like, this thing is absolutely awesome, and it was broken every time I went to go use it? Of course I did. That's why I do the stuff I do for you guys, because it's really to help you out. Infamous, yeah, you'd be buying. Yeah, you and me both, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, there's no crash coming. There isn't. I always have said it's a correction. 5, 10, maybe upwards of 20% in some areas. Sure. Yeah, it's going to happen, but it's not going to be 30 or 40%. You know why? Wall Street has 110 billion, dollars sitting on the sidelines. 110 billion. That's just in 2 funds that they're saying, yeah, we're going to buy homes. And you know what they're going to buy? They're going to buy all the stuff that you want. And what are they doing with builders now? You know, I'm hearing about guys going to different metros and looking at the metros and being like, all right, where can we invest here? And then they're like, nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. And they're like, yeah, can't really do it because the new houses are so expensive. They don't cash flow. In my area, you can get a 40 or 50-year-old 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,500 square foot house. You can buy that for about $350 to $400. If it's new construction, it's $650. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't pencil the math, because you're not going to get that big of a premium from a renter living in a house that's nicely updated to one that's absolutely spanking brand new. You're not going to get that 40 or 50% premium. That's not how rentals work. Angel R, do you prefer tile over LVP for bath renovation? So the problem for me in my area, Angel, is that tiling is very, very, very expensive. There's a lot of markets where it's not expensive. So like Las Vegas, the really hot markets, not hot as in, oh, it's tough to get a deal there, but hot as in weather. So Las Vegas, you can find a tiling crews, like just, take your McDonald's bag and toss it and you'll find one. Because it's a dominant product that's used out there. Up in the Northeast, tile is super expensive. When you're looking at a typical tile job, you're looking at 10 to 12 bucks a square foot. Yep. At a minimum, it's really, really expensive. All-nighter, pick up that phone, Jeff. I need the encouragement of you getting a deal. Yeah, right. So LVP for bath. So I only prefer it based on massive cost difference. I can put nice LVP product in a bathroom for $4 a square foot, and tile is going to be 12. So it's 3x the price. The problem is time. I can have an LVP floor done in an afternoon in a bathroom, and for tile, it's a couple of days at least. And then it's waiting to get on their calendar and all this silliness. Yeah. All-nighter. You mean renters don't scrutinize for new studs in the walls? They do not. And that's the thing is, that's why I'm all about value add. I take the newest house that I rip apart. The newest one is 50 years old. People laugh. So what was I got some new deal. I did a deal on a house, and it was like a newer house, like built in like the 60s. Everybody laughed at me. All my friends laughed at me. Like, what are you going to do, man? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, that thing's only like 60 years old. Like, what are you going to do? I was like, what do you mean? It's like, we used to working on like 120 to 160-year-old stuff. You're not going to find any of that same stuff in that building. I go, bro, this thing is so new. I don't have to touch it. Like, I literally want to yank out, baseboard and doors and do our trim package inside there, but I don't have to do anything else. It's not horsehair plaster. Like, oh my heavens. I was tickled. Yeah, that deal was a just crusher deal. Yeah, crusher deal. Invest to Wealth, good afternoon. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. I appreciate you guys letting me eat too. Like, literally, I walked in the door and my wife was like, hey, I got your breakfast. And I was like, I'm already late for my live stream. I was working with a tenant. I'm really anxious. I'm also really anxious looking at my phone because the plumber's there. And let me see if I can show this picture. Oh yeah, that doesn't show up too badly. That's pretty good. So you see what that sag is right there? So this is the magic of latex paint right here. So water was pushing on that. Water had completely soaked, this piece of sheetrock. Is that sheetrock? Yep, that's sheetrock. It had completely soaked this piece of sheetrock. Here's how amazing the materials that they make now. That's a latex paint. The water was pushing through. It had soaked through the sheetrock and then created a massive bubble where the water was just sitting in the bubble. And the only time these bubbles pop is if they collapse under the weight and they literally pull off under the weight. It's, I mean, guys, the technology that's available to us today and making rehabs and doing this stuff, you got to stay cutting edge on that technology because it makes you infinitely better than your competition and certainly better than like older landlords in their 60s and 70s that don't stay on top of that stuff because they just leave it as is. That's where the affordable housing disappears because the older landlords are like, well, yeah, my mortgage was $60,000 and my payment was 600. And now my cheapest rent is 14. So they keep the rents low, even though it's a $2,000 unit, but that's where you buy value add. And you don't have to, I don't kick tenants out, but if you're difficult, yeah, you're going to go out and I'm going to redo the unit and I'm going to bring it to market. If you're a good tenant, I keep you there. I have a couple tenants that I've kept for a really long time. We just had one, we had one tenant that was paying $563 a month, $563 a month for rent. That's all they were paying, $563. I had the unit next to them rented out for $1,200. $563. It was an old guy. What am I going to do? Like I did the math on the building, acting as if I wasn't going to raise his rent. That's how I run my numbers when I have, retired folks in there. And he was more than content and he loved the place. And then he got to that point in his life where he needed some assistance, couldn't live there on his own anymore. And then at that point, we redid the unit. We spent $4 or $5 grand on the unit. And now that unit is rented out for now it's a $1,700 unit. But he was paying $563 until we put only $5 grand and then we get 1,700. Like return on capital was 4.5 months on that investment. Like that crushed. Yeah, that's an 80s rent price. Yeah, in fact, I think so. This was back in, when did I buy that building? In 2013, 14, 2014. I think he lived there for 18 years or 19 years. So it was like a 90s rent price. But yeah. Question, what all-nighter hider? Question, what is something memorable that you found in a house you've inspected? Pro tip, always check the attic for goodies. Yeah, dude, that's for sure. I thought, did I have something? What's the coolest thing? Well, that's a good question. Memorable, most memorable. One of the most memorable things I actually got was, or found was sorry, what did I say? It was memorable. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It was just memorable. It was a prosthetic breast. I've never found one before. So I thought that was really interesting. It was a prosthetic breast. I found that in a building I just bought. I found a skate sharpener, like a legit like hockey player. So I grew up, or didn't grow up, but when I turned 18, my mom said I couldn't play hockey when I was a kid. No joke. So I literally, my wish was, okay, I'm going to turn 18, then I'm going to start playing hockey. So I did. But I found a legit old, like 70s, 60s, 70s skate sharpener, like the real legit tool. A real legit like table sharpener. The thing is just the nuts. I'll post a picture of that on Instagram too, because it's really cool. It's, yeah, but you find cool stuff every now and again. I found, we just did a house where the woman had a bunch of costume jewelry. And so my daughter, when she's good, she's a good kid, but when she like has like one of those exceptional days where she doesn't whine at all and she played well with her brother and her sister and that sort of thing, she gets to pick a piece of jewelry out of there. None of it's real, but it's still nice costume jewelry. And she just like lights up when she gets to do that. We've had another one where a tenant abandoned a bunch of stuff, couldn't take it. And so, he had a bunch of Star Wars figures. I'm a big Star Wars guy. I love Star Wars, the original stuff. And so the kid got that. So yeah. Yep. Yeah. Send your skates over, Hyder. Yeah. I don't know how good I'm going to be. I might ruin that set. So I'd wait. Cause I want to learn it. I want to learn how to use it and create an edge. Cause my son's skating now. He's 5 and my daughter will be skating next year. But yeah, Paul Jensen, median price declines are not price declines, but cheaper homes selling more often. Correct. No, that's exact. Paul Jensen. It's exactly right. So I did a live stream with Dion on Friday on his channel. You can check it out. We had a lot of fun as we always do. And that was the big thing that I talked about. I basically drew this graph. This was basically the graph. 195K house, 200K house, 300K, 325, 330, 400, 500, right? So let's say this is like a cheaper than median market. What you'll find is this is now a luxury home because let's say the median home price in that market's, let's say 250. This is now a luxury home based on it being 2x the median price. And then this is a move up buyer. Well, the 500K house. So right now at 195 to 500, the median price house is 325K. I know you're not gonna be able to see this really well, but let's say it's 325K, right? Well, what ends up happening is the median house price changes when you drop out the luxury home and you drop out the move out buyer. So now you're 195 to 330, but guess what? The median house is no longer 325 house. It's now the 300K house. So the median house price technically went down 8%. Did it? Factually, it did. But that's what I'm betting on. I'm not betting on housing crashing or going down. I'm betting on the luxury transactions and the move up buyer transactions being taken out. Because I believe, like Mike Super believes, it's going to be a white collar recession. So those people are going to be the ones that are going to do what? They have equity in their house. They lost their job. They're going to sell their house and they're going to likely scale down, or they'll have trouble selling their house, but they know they need to get away from the payment because they still have some capital left. They sell that house. Somebody gets an amazing deal on that house. Maybe, right? But they're going to go from a median house to maybe a less than median house or even a nice rental. When people say, oh, what happens if you lose your job? What happens if you lose your job? What are you going to do about your house? You tell me the scenario. Here's a scenario for you. You have a renter and an owner. The renter pays $2,200 a month. Let's just say, you know what? The renter pays $2,500 a month. And the owner of the property pays $2,200 a month, $2,300 a month. What's this guy going to do? He's going to do everything he can to not lose his home. Number one, right? Number two, and most importantly, is this guy usually the renter has less savings almost always than the homeowner. But let's just say they have equal savings, right? Let's just say they're like 80% of people or 69% of people in the market that don't have more than $1,000 in their bank account for an emergency. Guess what? This guy doesn't pay rent month one. This guy doesn't pay his mortgage. Okay. This guy gets a notice to quit and an eviction notice. This guy gets a 30-day late. This guy then is sitting there and he's going, oh man, what am I going to do? And then the landlord's really understanding. He's like, hey, listen, I'm out of a job. I got a lot of interviews. Landlord, for some reason, is super understanding because he's had the guy for years. And he's like, you know what? Just do what you can. Just do what you can. Then what happens? This guy doesn't make it. He's now got, I didn't pay rent in January. I didn't pay rent in February. This guy, he's got a 60-day late. His phone's ringing more often, but he just has a 60-day late. This guy, eventually the landlord just goes, guys, can't do it anymore. I got to evict you. You can leave constructively and we can make an agreement of when you can get out, but I got to get you out. So what's this guy doing? 3 months. He doesn't pay his rent. He's out of money. He still doesn't have a job, or he's got a job that pays him a whole lot less money. What's he done? He's evicted 3 months in. This guy, 90-day late. First notice of default, second notice of default, third notice of default. Now you're entering foreclosure. Now you're going through the foreclosure process. Now they try and do a workout with you. See what I'm saying? I'm 8 months, 9 months in over on this hand, and this guy's gone. He's dust in month 3. So for those of you thinking that you're doing a better thing by not having a house and having a rental, I just proved to you you're wrong, because I'm 8 or 9 months over here before anything really is starting to happen. Like before they show up or try and do an auction or blah, 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 blah. This guy can also sell his house and get out of it. This guy still has no assets. Guys, owning a house when it's your personal residence and you're worried about losing your job, because, hey, it's possible. But if you're in a house, you have a 9-month stay. at least, if not 12. So you can go a year without paying your mortgage. You're not going to last that long in an apartment. Ain't going to happen. Just saying, ain't going to happen. I had a female tenant who moved out of a 2-bedroom that she was renting from me for 10 years. Okay. She made the 2nd bedroom into a dungeon and she left all of her sex toys behind. Well, that's very interesting. Sounds to me like you just got yourself an Airbnb short-term rental with a business plan attached. What I wouldn't do. Ironwood workman. I like this background, Lumberjack. It almost looks like you're sitting on the couch. See, you know what? I had to have a place where Dion wouldn't feel threatened. So I know when he comes to visit, he'll just sit on the couch and lay on the couch and chill out. It's actually a really nice leather couch too. Super comfortable. What's really funny is that we don't have it in a room that we sit and actually use it. So dumb. Oh, love it. Hey, Ironwood. Yeah, good to have you here, my man. Hyder, did you not thank me for my super chat? Dividend Dave, did I miss you a super chat? I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, no, I got you. Oh, I'm McLovin your course, man. I did miss it. I'm sorry, my man. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Dave, you're crushing it too. You're pretty into the course. I think you're like about halfway through. That's the cool thing. I get to see when you've clicked on something, not like how much of it you've done, but there's a really cool message that we're doing this week because I have something special that I designed myself. I designed it myself, came up with it myself. Well, the design anyway. I talked with Millennial Mike about it because there's just a whole cool meaning behind it. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to release videos on that this week for you guys in the course. We'll release a channel. We'll release on the channel where other people can see it because I want them to know, why we're doing it the way that we're doing it. But we're already forming great community there. There is a chat function in the course, guys. Use it. I want us talking in there. You guys get my time. I spend time in the chat every single day there. YouTube comments, Instagram comments. I try and get to that stuff, but in the course where people are there and I know they're there to learn and it's there to gain better understanding so they can become a lead at what they do. I am in that chat every single day. And you guys have seen real-time messages from me too. Let's see. So thank you very much for the super chat. Robert Fairnelly, oh, Mad 76 had to go. See ya. Good. Thanks for hanging out. Dion, the casting couch. Dion, sweet Lord. That will be a solo session for you, Dion. And BF, I want to know, are you going to take my idea on dude, if you still got the dungeon, I'm telling you, that's an Airbnb right there, man. That's an Airbnb. BF's dungeon. That's awesome. All right, Robert, I want to get to you, my friend. Reposting this in the course, you talked about making sure all outlets are good and grounded. Yep. If you have ungrounded outlets, would you GFCI protect the circuits instead of rewiring? Yeah. Yep, I would. Yep. I wouldn't rewire a whole house if it's first, so let me put that with a caveat. I would get a couple of bids from electricians. I would try to understand what if it's like a first floor, right? If it's a first floor, I'm probably not going to make them all GFCI outlets. I would probably just have them rewire. Because then you get the bonus of it being a rewire. As far as just like functionality and everything else. So I would probably, if it was a first floor, I'd probably have them rewire. It would depend on the quotes. Because again, there's no wrong, neither of those are a wrong thing to do. And so when it's not a matter of choosing right or wrong, it's a matter of choosing, that either of those is a good sound solution. It really just comes down to at that point, okay, what's the cost difference? If I can do it for an extra $1,000 or $2,000 and I'm going to get a complete rewire, yeah. If it's going to cost me an extra $7,000, nah, I'd probably GFCI everything. But I wouldn't buy the ones with black and red resets. I would buy a Decora with the white resets. That way it still looks like a nice pretty outlet. That's what I would do. Good question though. My electrician recommended that instead of rewiring, yep, second floor. Okay, second floor unit. Yep, which has no attic access. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, lots of holes in walls and ceilings and fishing stuff. It's not just the holes in the walls and the fishing stuff either. It's the time. it can double the amount of time that they're going to be on a job, and it's not fun. It's not conducive to getting a job done timely. So yeah, I think that's a good one. Chris Bott, I'm getting into corporate housing rentals. Really cool. Yeah. Do you have any advice? Yeah, for sure. Chris, great question. So what I did, so I don't give advice, but I just tell you what my experience was. For corporate rentals, what I did was I called the HR department for the larger organizations around me. Okay. Corporate rentals. I called those organizations. I just called their human resources department. And I said, I have a couple of corporate rentals. Cause you know what? They literally have to go out and try and find them, and they suck at it. Like, but that's what they have to try and do. Like, they suck because it's so hard to really find like the ideal thing. So what you try and do is you create almost like an Airbnb experience, but more like a midterm rental. The way that you do that is much the same way that you would create an Airbnb. You want to have a book of here's the places to go. If it's an executive, corporate rental, you want to go with nice, clean lines. You want to go with high-speed internet. You want to go with, web TV, and, you want to really class up the place a lot like an Airbnb. And when we were an LTR, a long-term rental, you're not looking at any of that stuff. So on a corporate rental side, what I've done is I've reached out to the corporations around me, and then I've put together a really nice package. Now you can have it done, or you can have somebody on Fiverr do it. So Fiverr, Fivrr. They're like a marketing outsource thing. You could literally send them something and say, I want you to create like a 2-minute reel or a 1-minute reel of this apartment. I want you, and I want there to be a narration of this, or you can even be the one where they say, hey, just record yourself on your phone and then just send us that wave file. And then you can like write out a script and do that. Yeah. I just made you a ton of money, Chris, a ton of money, because that shows you're way more professional than everybody else in the game, or 90% of them. So I would literally bring up my phone, boom, I'd hit it. I'd hit the microphone. There's free voice recorders on every phone. I would just hit that mic. I would have a script if you're not good at kind of free thought, meaning like thinking as you're going. But I would bang that out. I would have that voice file. I'd have somebody on Fiverr. Fiverr would probably build that thing for $125 and make it beautiful, make it absolutely beautiful. And then I would literally call those corporate offices. I would talk to them and say, hey, I'm a local corporate landlord. This is how we do. This is what we do. Let me just send you a sample of one of the things that we have while I have you on the phone. That's what you're doing while I have you on the phone. And then you say, yeah, it'll just take a minute. We'll go through it together. Yes. So that's what I would do. Let me know what you think about that. Chris Bott, thanks to both you and Orat. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, my pleasure. DM was featured on Business. Yeah, he's the man. He's the man. We've gotten to know Business Insider like decently well. So I think Dion, I want to say, he won't ever say, but I think that's his 5th. That's either his 5th or his 6th article. And I think I'm only on 4 or maybe 5. He's got more than me. Dion, it's all that free time. And the better ideas. Let's see. Ironwood Workman. The growth in Montana, has been so crazy. Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding a good property manager. Does anyone have any ideas on how to find a good responsible manager? Right now, my family is doing it for me, but they want to get out of it all residential and only do commercial. So here's one of the things that I would tell you is picture incoming. Oh, I was right. Guys, what did I tell you when we first started the live stream? I said, when they get to that shower valve, they're going to find that it's going to be a split elbow. Here's what I want to show you. Man. Is that focused enough? Yep. There's the elbow. See that split right there? There you go. Split elbow. Guys, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I know exactly how these buildings work. I know frigid cold temperatures, frozen pipes, popped pinholes, broken elbows. Could tell the way that it was gushing and leaking. It wasn't a pinhole. I knew that point of weakness was going to be that right there. Freaking awesome. This first one or second one? Yeah. Hold on. I literally have a friend texting me right now. I'm going to text her back and be like, hey, why aren't you watching my live stream? Um, yeah. So Chris, you're very welcome. Yeah. Dion's the man. Super pumped about him on Business Insider. So Ironwood Workman, in all seriousness, I have found a way to get rid of property managers and allow you to still manage your business, but keep twice as much money. Twice as much money, you say? I said it, twice as much money. It's in my course. It's actually called Property Management Insourcing. I have a complete and entire guide on how you can eliminate your property manager and still not have to manage your property. It's a process. It is a different type of management, and it's one that I actually tried on myself. I ate my own dog food, and I did it a year ago. On now. Do it now. That's my friend, not my plumber. I'm a workman. Copper almost always splits in the elbows. Yeah, exactly. Hasp me how I know, but living in Montana. That's exactly right. Guys who have lived in cold weather like that, Montana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, northern parts of Washington. Actually, not so much Washington. But yeah, like the really, really cold, like Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, higher parts of Michigan, Buffalo, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, northern Maine. We know it. We know this. We've seen it once. We've seen it 1,000 times. Third. Oh man. Well, that's a gusher. Where's that one? There's break there. So that's three breaks in that, but all in the same area, right? All in that chase going up. That's how cold that minus 37 got. Art T, Matt, what is one of the main appliances or pieces of equipment you see landlords cheap out on and always bites them back? Art T, awesome question. Awesome question. I see them cheap out on not putting in an electric lock. I see a lot of guys just like, yeah, I just have keys. Oh, really? So that's a cheap out in my mind because that's $50 or $100 you put on the front door and the back door. I see that one pretty often where they don't do electric door locks, which blows my mind. You're one locksmith away from being negative on your door locks. One. You're one tenant. Think about this. The tenant has keys. The old tenant, when they're now an old tenant, they leave, they still have keys a lot of times. That's a problem. Door locks, insulation. Insulation's a big one. People end up with frozen pipe year after year after year after year after year. The thing that bothered me the most about our freeze ups this year was that 3 of them were a recurrence. I don't like recurrences. Recurrences are a problem. Recurrences aren't mean that we looked at it, we diagnosed it, we fixed it, and then something still happened. Now, in this one, I have to be a little bit lenient, only because it was minus 37 wind chill. Kind of tough. So that's what I look at. Eric Saleh, we are building a new house on a golf course and wanted to do a corporate rental in the future. Nice. However, I found out that the owner of the golf course wanted our specific lot and house model. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. I found out that the owner. Okay. So give me more on that, man. Give me more on that, Eric. However, I found out that the owner of the golf course wanted our specific lot and home model. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, if you can, honestly, if you can roll it, like if you bought it right and you can roll it for money, just have people, the thing that people make a mistake with is that they'll sell an asset because they got a good price for it without doing the math. Maybe that return on that capital would have been 2 or 3 years. If you've got another deal that you want to do where you know you can roll it on a 1031, If you know you can roll that thing on a 1031 exchange, like what I talk about a lot, we rolled a lot of 1030 exchange money. And the other thing you can do too is you can do one to manys. You can roll one property, make a $200,000 of profit on a 1031. You can use that $200,000 to acquire 3 other assets. We've done that. Flash a light. Good morning. When are you going to retire from your W-2? Great question. 1 year, 2 years, specific age, end of work project. Taxes are so high on W-2 income that I want to leave within 5 years. Yeah, flash a light. It'll be faster than 5. Just to kind of give you a ballpark. It'll be anywhere from today. I'm going to steal Dion's answer. He always used to tease me and we always used to ask and talk about it. He would say between today and 3 years from now. And so I think for me, it's probably between today and within the year, I would guess. I would guess within the year. We have 16 units right now that we have under construction that are costing us money every month. And we're doing it out of cash flow. And we have plenty of reserves and all that stuff. But I just like for projects to be like kind of finalized. And it's like, okay, that's done. And when that part of the portfolio is done, then it's kind of like, all right, like now's probably the time to look for the next big project that I want to do. And to do that at that point, it's probably makes sense where I then retire. Cause managing the way that we have so far, just it's been a lot of work, kind of tiring. Angel R, would you replace a perfectly fine drop ceiling in a living room, answer room with drywall to add recessed lighting? Currently, there is no ceiling light and switches wired to an outlet for a lamp on and off. Depends on the number. Look, so if you do that, will you get any more rent? Will you see any more return on capital? The thing that I would more likely consider is I would more likely consider a Bluetooth switch. They make Bluetooth switches where all you have to do is have power at the Bluetooth switch, and then you can get power since you have a drop ceiling. I'm sure there's power somewhere up there that you can grab, or you can even take it off of an outlet, bring it up the wall, and then get power to like something in the center of the room, or even into a box in the center of the room where you can then do like a link together a bunch of LEDs. That you could then again just do off of a Bluetooth switch, because then you can just make it one Bluetooth switch, and then that Bluetooth switch connects to its to its receiver, and then you don't actually have to wire all of those lights and wire all that stuff. So I would look at using a Bluetooth switch if you're just trying to put one light in the middle of the room, or even go wafers. I would just compare the two. If when you look at it, it's going to cost you, $5,000 to do, or $4,000 to do a ceiling and put in all the lights and electrical work versus $1,000. I do the $1,000 thing, I think, depending on the quality of the unit. If not, then I would consider the bigger expense, because once you do it, you're done. But Bluetooth switches, I like a lot. Financial firefighter, morning from Hawaii. Good morning, Mark. It's not that warm here today, 74 degrees, but thankfully it's going to be 44. And 44, I like a whole lot better than minus 37. Yeah, wind chills in one part of the town hit minus 47, but not where I was. That was more kind of up on a hill where where it kind of gets whipped around. Let's see. CJ, if you're swapping out the same, sorry, CJ. I want to get your other question, CJ. Do you think a furnace replacement could be a DIY job, or do you not bother with that? No, I don't do that. Because the biggest problem that you're going to have is you're going to have permits from the town, especially if it's gas, because you have to have a gas license. Because if you do something wrong, CO2, someone dies. Carbon monoxide. Yeah. Yeah, I don't swap my own furnaces. Don't mess with that at all. You could, well, so that's not true necessarily. What I will do is I will take their very expensive moving time, their very expensive getting in a position time. So I have absolutely bought furnaces, scratch and dent, whatever, and I've gotten them, I've either paid them to be delivered or called somebody and had it delivered. Like there's a moving guy that I'll use that's absolutely fantastic. He has all the equipments, all the dollies, all the everything, him and his partner. So I can get pretty much anything delivered for like $100. Well, what's it going to cost me to have the plumber do that? It's going to cost me like probably $700, $800. So I always tell them, give me a price based on the boiler sitting right here being ready for you. They don't want to do that work either. They just have to charge for it because they're going to charge for their time. So that's my preference is I will actually get whatever the heating system is, move it in place, order it, pay for it, all of that stuff if they'll let me do it. And then they just are showing up in their labor and they're going to put it all together. That's usually what I do. Yeah, hider. Yeah, if you're swapping out the same model, maybe easy. Yeah, I think if you're mechanically inclined, you can do it. The only problem is that the manufacturer is not going to warranty your work. Like if you call them and say, yeah, this XYZ happened, do you know what they do? They show up and they're just like, who is installed by? Oh, you installed it? Yeah, no, we're not honoring that warranty. You did it wrong. I want that. And the other thing too is that then you own it forever for service. If you have somebody install it, you also want to make sure that they do service. That way, if they created a problem or if they created an issue, then they're just like, yeah, this isn't performing properly, but it's not an install issue. It's truly a product issue. I got a system installed. It was actually, I didn't even get it installed. It was in the house that I bought. It was a $10,000, you can look it up online, Takagi, on-demand, dual on-demand, hot water burner on demand. Awesome. $10,000 is what that machine cost. We moved into the house. It stopped working. Like within 3 months of moving into the house. I was like, let's get this thing started then. So I got my plumber to come look at it. He looks at it and he's like, yeah, he's like, that's not working right. Something's going on there. What we ended up doing, we ended up working with him, working with the local supply shop, working with the company. And we went back and forth, fought a little bit. When it was all said and done, they gave me the unit. I only had to pay freight and I had to pay for install. So I got a brand new $10,000 dual fired on-demand hot water boiler, basically built for most commercial kitchens. For some reason, they put that in the house. I don't know. Maybe they just are really passionate about hot water. There are a number of hot water demands here. But yeah, so I was out of it for a little over $1,000 and I got a $10,000 system that still has another 3-year or 4-year warranty on it. So if we have any other problems, boom, we're done. But it also was installed by a professional. So if it does become an issue, he then owns being able to quarterback that and speak the language with the supply shop and the manufacturer. I had to get involved very little. He did most of the work there, but that's what he's paid for. So he did great. James Wells, thanks for all you do. If you have a building vacant, what is the minimum temperature you keep the heater set at so pipes don't freeze? So that's a really good question. The thing that comes into play there, James, is what's called heat sink. So let's say it's 50 degrees, 50 degrees, 50 degrees, 3 days in a row. And then it's 40 degrees, 40 degrees, 40 degrees, 3 days in a row. And then it's 30 degrees. Your house doesn't cold sink because it hit 30 degrees. What it does is it basically the average starts to trend down. Where you end up getting crushed is when it is blowy air, very windy, because that actually will find any little crevice to get in and literally suck heat out. And you'd be surprised, a little tiny crack in a window blowing on a copper pipe, that's enough to freeze it in just an hour or two. It's pretty nuts. So that's where you really have to stop all your drafts in the house. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Yeah. Little bit touchy on the brain today, a little bit fried, won't lie. Yes, CO2, yes. CO, yeah, the CO alarms, yes. Carbon monoxide, yes, correct. So here's the thing. Those pipes burst in units where the heat was still at 60 degrees. 60 degrees. They burst. One of the tenants had their heat at like 75 degrees. That tenant didn't have any issues. It's kind of good. But it really depends on what's, how well insulated the house is. It's called a building envelope. When you have the building envelope, there's really, 2 core components. It's how much can I heat the space? and how much heat loss is there. And heat loss is doors, windows, and insulation. So based on that heat loss is where you look at it and you go, all right, based on this amount of heat loss, that's what a manufacturer or what a plumber is calculating is your heat loss. And they're looking at it and going, this is how many feet of baseboard you need based on this being the output of the baseboard. This is how many linear feet of baseboard you need based on the amount of heat loss, i.e. here's the size of the windows. Here's what we believe the insulation to be. And we'll even port a hole so we can see what the insulation is. We've ported a hole before and there was no insulation. I was just like, that's bad. It was not good, but we were able to fix it. So yeah. Oh my goodness. We've been here for a little over an hour. I'm going to go a little bit long, a little bit past 1 o'clock today, but I won't go much past that because I want to spend some time with my kids this weekend. Even though I'm likely going to fall asleep and I'm definitely getting I'm getting hit in the head with something. So it's Anna K. Good morning, Anna K. I'm already 1 hour behind. Yeah, I know. I'll catch up on the beginning afterwards. It's all good. Good morning, Anna. Lumberjack, being that your plumber has it torn apart right now, it might be good to put some heated wire, on the plumbing, or a space heater. Yep. Yeah, if you have room in that space. So we don't have room in the space, so that's great. So what Ironwood's talking about is you can actually you can do a couple things. You can try and find a way to put insulation in the chase, because it's not, then it will stop the cold air from Dion, imagine all the time with the kids. Yeah, Dion, I know. And with my buddies, Dion, you'd come visit more often, albeit Dan would have probably cried had he been here this last weekend. It was awful. So you can stop the air from blowing up there. And if you have insulation, there's really not enough room for insulation in there. And so what we will do is we will do something preventative. We won't heat tape those lines. What we will actually do is there's like a big window that was behind that in the basement. What we'll actually do is we will create, we'll do a bunch of spray foam. We'll literally do a bunch of spray foam on that wall, and we'll stop all air movement from coming in that window. And there's 3 other windows in the basement. We don't need that window. So we'll just spray foam that window in and make sure, or we'll even remove it and put in some concrete and some cinder blocks, and then just blow right through that, because that would happen again. The wood heat makes everything feel so dry and warm. I'm not sure why. Yeah. So I like most fire policies will not allow for a renter to live in a place where there is a wood stove or something that's heat, where heat is driven from wood as the source. Fireplaces are most insurance companies won't do fireplace, or your rates will be 4x. But fireplaces, wood stoves, pellet stoves, there's just a much higher incident rate with those, comparatively speaking, to the number of heat systems that are deployed. Lumberjack, do you take a salary? If not, how often or when do you withdraw funds from your operating accounts? BF, I don't take money out ever. I've never done it in 22 years. Nope. Every single dime that we have, we rolled into the business, because the rule is the longer you cannot take money out of the business, the better off you are when it comes to getting a continued higher rate of return. So we've never taken money out of the business. That's honestly, that's one of the big transition it's going to be for me, is that, I don't have a W-2. That's our livelihood. That's the only way that we live, off of that income. But we've never needed that income because I make a good income in my job. So we've never taken money out of that account to buy something in our personal lives. It's only been expenses and even buying a truck. Like, I would buy my truck and then I would use it for the business, but the business didn't own it. But I bought my truck. So we're going to do more of that tax strategy stuff, where because we'll be depending on the revenue from the rental business to pay all of our bills. So I haven't written a check for my mortgage in I don't know, what decade? Yeah, I don't write checks for my mortgage. It comes out of the property account, and then it's just noted at the end of the year as primary residence. Paul Jensen, my last years at my job, I cut my hours back to 30 hours a week, then 20 hours a week last year. Yep. I highly advise you drop to 20 hours that immediately. Yeah. Challenging thing for me is that you can't do that in my position. I have to, I have a, um, I have an executive job. I can't do 20 hours. They won't let me get away with that. Too much depends on me and what I do. Taking some extra salary now can spread the income over for more years, reduce your taxes. Yeah, I totally agree. I would probably, in truth, I'd probably get a job at Home Depot in the plumbing aisle. I know, I'm sorry. I just find too many people in the plumbing aisle that don't know what they're doing. I've literally spent an hour in the plumbing aisle helping people because they're like, hey, I heard you talking to the other guy. Can you help me? I was like, I mean, I'm not the homer here at Home Depot, but yeah, I'll help you. So I would help people in the line. I don't mind. I like it. And it's easy to figure. I mean, I self-managing landlord. I know I had to figure out all that stuff. I didn't know it. My dad wasn't a plumber. I didn't have any friends that were plumbers. I had to figure it out. Leela Kiros. Hey, Leela. On 100-year-old homes, besides electric, what other update would you do standard? When would you do insulation? I would do insulation like probably even it's right up there with electric. I'd probably do it before electric. Because for me, if your tenant's getting a $500 heating bill in the wintertime, they're not going to stick around. You're going to have tenant turnover in that unit. The other thing too is that look at what I had to do all weekend. I didn't have a weekend. I basically worked from Friday night when I finished my job. I was busy Friday night. I was busy all day Saturday, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I finally called into bed at 2 o'clock. Now that's an extreme case because I own so many properties. Way it goes. One of my buddies was like, man, you okay? And it's crass, but I think it's funny. And so I'll share it with you guys. You guys know my personality at this point. I sent him a picture of my bank account and I go, yeah, I'm fine. It's what it is. I mean, I do it because I like it, but I also get paid really well to do it. So it's okay. But yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. To clarify, Robert Farinelli, to clarify an earlier question, I have 1940s plasterboard drywall with cracks and very uneven ceiling and ceiling is fine. How would you fix it? I think about skim coating it with mud. I would just look honestly out in Manchester where you are, Robert, there's a ton of French Canadians and French Canadians. This was a big skill for them in the 1900s. They're the best. They're craftsmen at it. I guarantee you can find a French Canadian that would come in and skim coat your ceiling and do it the right way with plaster and just do a plaster skim coat. The thing that you want to do is you want to get into the lines bigger. You want to make them bigger. They're cracking for a reason. And so typically there's like a special, it comes with like a cup like this. And then it comes with, actually, did I already do that to this? No, this was perfect. So it comes with like a cup like this. If you can see that, this comes with like a cup like this. And then what they do is it then has a screw that goes through like this. And then it screws into, here, I'll block my face. Anyway. But you screw in and then it basically cups it and then it holds that piece in. They'll want to probably kind of like roto zip out the crack, likely. And then they'll re-secure it if it's actually, so that way the plaster doesn't fall, because that's the first sign that the plaster is pulling away from the lathe. So when you do that, you can put that up in there. The other option is that you just sheetrock over it. That's the other option. Or you even luan over it or 1/4-inch plywood over it and then use strips and then just bring your light setting through. That's where, if you get prices on all three, I'd be willing to bet you that the luan approach is probably the cheapest. And I like when you have a pretty ceiling that was properly geometrically designed, i.e. your room is, 12 by 12 or something like that. You can buy 12-foot pieces of 1/4-inch plywood. Might have to special order them, but they're probably like $50, but you can buy a 12 by 4 piece. That means you're going to need only three pieces. right? Because they're 4 foot by 12 foot. So you can take those and then make your ceiling and then do a strip hiding the seam and porting your hole for your light and for your smoke detector. If your smoke detector's on the ceiling, it looks really good. It actually does. I'll show you guys one next week sometime. I think we're doing it. I don't know how much everything got pushed off by having to do broken line repair. But we're going to do it in the next week or two. And again, it looks beautiful. I love the way that looks. It looks really clean. Let's see. Great show. Love the insourcing section, by the way. Phil Nealon, thank you so much, my man. Phil is the only one in this chat, except for maybe Ironwood Workman, that really truly understands cold in Alaska. Actually, Phil, and then there's one other person I think from Alaska in the course too. Yeah, Phil's from Alaska. Mount Washington, wind chill minus 109 degrees. I know. So Mount Washington's only about an hour from my house. It got so cold. It was minus 47 without having to be on the top of the mountain. Actually, that picture that I shared in for the live stream, that the thumbnail, that's Mount Washington. That's how cold it gets up there. That's all. Look at Mount Washington in the springtime. It's actually a really nice place. In the wintertime, it is beyond inhospitable. It is literally like living on Endor or Hoth. I think Hoth, but definitely Endor. Yeah. Or no, Hoth. Hoth. Yeah. Get yourself a Tauntaun. Marina W. Hey, Marina. Matt, you need to learn the influencer focus on product hand move. I know. Is that like this? Is that this one? Yeah. Everyone see my big, huge swollen hands. Oh, they hurt so bad. I can't even begin to tell you how bad my hands hurt. My hands hurt. Matt Bittner, PEX pipe is the way to go if you are going to repipe any properties you own. Yeah, largely agree. Largely agree. They have more of an insular quality with their they have a thicker exterior wall and they're less likely to freeze than copper. So I do like PEX. So yeah, largely agree. There are certain scenarios where copper, but largely agree on PEX. Yeah, for sure. Jacob was just about to make a Hoth joke. There you go. See, great minds think alike. But yeah, man, freaking Hoth, bro. No tauntauns, no lightsaber to cut that tauntaun open, get in there and stay warm. Yeah. Yeah, it was brutal. It's so bad. Whew. So cold. So cold. Rashad Zayed, I heard PEX doesn't freeze. PEX does freeze. Yeah, PEX absolutely freezes. So PEX does freeze. GFCI, Paul Jensen. PEX does freeze. Absolutely had it happen. You can't then thaw it out with open torch. You really shouldn't be using a heat gun on it. And so usually the best bet with PEX is using an approved heat tape and then properly mounting it on there. And then it will thaw. You can also just raise up the temperature in the room. But yeah, PEX does absolutely freeze. And I've seen their plastic couplings, not the brass ones, but I've seen the plastic couplings break. So PEX is a great product, but it's not the end all be all. It's not everything. Yeah. Ground fault circuit interrupter. Yes, sir. That's right. Yep. GFCI. Yep. Art T to, it gets 250 here in Sacramento. I'm freezing. Gets to 50. Yeah. Yes. Who was it? Because it gets cold in Vegas too, especially in the wintertime. Because it's a desert. I was talking to Mike. I was talking to Mike and he's just like, yeah, this is awful. Anything below 50. And I was like, yeah, it kind of can be. It certainly kind of can be. So I was out in Vegas. It was 44 degrees and I was walking around in a t-shirt. Like, it's not to prove anything. It's just, I wasn't there. 44, 45 degrees just isn't cold. And because there's not a ton of wind that I experienced when I was there. So yeah. Paul Jensen, I heard it called an interrupter circuit. Would that technically be correct also? I don't know. I don't know. I've only ever heard it called a GFCI. But it could be. It could be. I don't know if that's a branding thing. Affectionately known as a GFI. Yep, by those in the trades. Yep, GFCI is what homeowners say. Yes, true. Yeah, I say GFCI because often that's what you're finding in the store. And that's what you're going to locate. Where's this wall needs to be air sealed. Fiberglass insulation, not enough air sealing material. Okay. I'm looking at this. Yeah, he said that was from before. Okay, yes, he said that wasn't current. Awesome. Sweet. Okay. You fix, I will repack. So 4 breaks. 4 breaks in that line. Son of a biscuit. Unbelievable. Matt Bittner, I recently saw ProPress for screw pipe. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, we just got the ProPress for the copper and I love it. Oh my goodness, that tool. So what's really funny is when he ran out of couplings, he's like, Matt, we're out of couplings. I go, it's okay. He goes, why? I go, I got a box of 40 of them in the truck. He goes, you have 40 of them? I go, yeah, I buy them in bulk. I said, I can buy a huge bulk package of them and it cuts the price in half. And I said, if I never use them, or if it's in a case like this, I said, did you ever see a job where you used, I think he used 18. I think he used 18 ProPress fittings. I said, have you ever seen a job where you used 18? He goes, no. I go, there you go. I said, I've got 40. I said, but you would have knocked out half my supply in one night. So yeah, it's a good thing. Matt Bidner. So no more need to heavy threading machine. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Cause on the older, like on the black iron, right? Like on black iron stuff. Yeah. Oh man. I'm not ready for one of those. Black iron's almost always like gas pipe though. Right? Is that a Bittner? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's like gas pipe and such. Nick Ragland Johnson, how often would you inspect a crawl space for leaks, rats? It depends on if it's ever been a problem before. If one of my tenants is complaining that they're hearing a noise, I'm in there right away. If they never hear it, then I'd probably check annually. Leaks, I check after cold. Probably at least an annual inspection, but leaks I'm checking for after it's brutally cold. Rob, if I ever wanted to live where it snows, Matt has cited me. Yes, cured me. Yes. Yeah. You don't want to live where it snows. So we love it here. It's our home. It's where I built my business. We're both from here. Like when you're Northeastern, you are either there for life or you become snowbirds. Very often do you move away forever. Sometimes it happens, but not very often. But yeah, we're not moving anytime. We're not leaving anytime soon. Yeah, Nick, good answer right there. Let's see. Our friend IBC's held up very well at 70 with blown in insulation and old wood windows. I'm telling you, man, those IBCs. So to me, did I have an issue anyway? So we had one issue in an IBC house. So we now have 31 of them deployed, I think 31 units deployed. We had one issue. It wasn't keeping to temp. But that was a house I just acquired as my first winter with it. And so I actually did some further inspection. There's crawl spaces that have no insulation and there's nothing done in there. It's crazy. So I know we were getting heat loss there, but it was minus 37 or minus 47 Fahrenheit, or 47 wasn't where that one was, minus 37 where that one was. So that was kind of the crazy thing. I'm Matt Bittner, experienced plumber. Yeah, cool. I think the brand of the screw pipe ProPress is called Mega Press. It would have to be, right? I was told by experienced plumber that the mega press can be used on gas, water, or pneumatic lines. Yeah. So pneumatic. So, yeah. So that those have to have like highly pressurized fittings because of obviously they're pushing fluid, like hydraulic fluid and things like that. Um, and plumbing, sure. I just don't think there's not a lot that gets done in the Northeast in black iron, except for gas piping. Gas piping is all iron. Yeah, in the I I love that tool, but I probably wouldn't buy it. It's probably super expensive, probably 10 grand. Sierra, good morning or good afternoon. I finally made it. It's 54 here. Good for you, show off. It is not 54 here, but it's going to be 42 soon enough. Actually, let's get a temperature check. What do we got? Temperature says 39 degrees. We are above freezing, ladies and gentlemen. If you have very nice plaster walls, would you rewire? Very nice plaster walls. Would I rewire? Rewire. Probably only a first floor unit in all likelihood. Not a second floor. Probably not. Probably not. On the second floor, if like I wanted like a light switch or something, I would find a way to get a power to the light or I would have power likely in the center of the room. Because it's usually like a pull cord or whatever. And so those old pull cords, you can put a Bluetooth switch in the wall. You can put the receiver up there on that light, and then you can still have a light switch. So I've done that a lot in older homes where I can use a Bluetooth switch. The only challenge is like a Bluetooth switch is going to cost you between 35 and 50 bucks. So they're more expensive. Nick, Ironwood Workman, thanks. Good sharing, guys. Paul Jensen, let's see. Oh, Paul, any availability to go for the exterior to rewire? You can. I've seen it. It's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. Yeah, because I have seen exterior. So that was a legitimate question, Paul. How would you know it's ugly? You wouldn't like it. Yeah, lack of grounding. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Ironwood, Phil, it is the high winds and the cold that gets me. Yep. Where I'm at right now, at the wind hardly ever blows. Yeah, Neelan, what is the coldest you've been in, Phil? Because the coldest I've ever been in was what we just did, was minus 47 wind chill. That was the coldest I've ever been in. That was awful. I've been in minus 30 a few times. Like real temp, I think the worst real temp I was ever in was like minus 23 real temp. Yeah, GFCI, yep, or GFI, minus 53. Damn. Is that wind chill or real temp? I mean, it doesn't matter. It feels like that. So it doesn't really matter, but yeah. Yeah, brutal. Holy crap, brutal. No wind. Oh, no. Minus 53, bro. Oh, not leaving wires or conduit exposed. I'm not that guy. Yeah. So one of the things that they used to do back in the day was when they wanted to bring wire to a new place, they would pop it out of the basement. They would run conduit up the side of the house and they would pop it in where they wanted to go. I hate that. So we've bought a number of houses with electric like that, but we know going into it that we're going to price running it internally. We do not want conduit hanging on the outside of our building. We just don't want it. It's too ugly. Throw water in the air and it never hits the ground. Yeah, no, well, it does as ice, right? Or does it just instantly evaporate? Interesting. Yeah, it was so freaking cold here. It was so cold. And I have, well, I didn't bring him downstairs. I literally have, so Duluth, who I hope will someday become a sponsor of the channel because I love their products. But Duluth has a fleece lined pant meant for that type of temperature. And I have a heavy duty, fire hose, made of fire hose material jacket, internal like fleece and all this stuff, like work jacket. And it was okay. It was okay, but I could still tell it was freezing outside. What's the temperature of the inside of a tauntaun? Lukewarm. Well done. That's good. I never thought about that too. It really is lukewarm. That's well done. Ironwood Workman. Montana has the most extreme temperature changes in the North American continent. Yep. It can go from 72 Fahrenheit to minus 30 in just a few hours. This almost killed me in the 80s. Oh, very interesting. I had to walk out of a blizzard in jean jacket and tennis shoes and tennis shoes. So the big funny thing about New Hampshire is we have a saying where it's, hey, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes, it'll change. And so we can have the same thing here too, where, yeah, and pretty quickly, you can go from in the 50s or 60s to getting a Canadian Arctic blast where it's 0 or negative. Yeah, same thing happens here. It's not as bad as it is in Montana. Montana is kind of you can really pick up that wind super fast across the plains. And in New Hampshire, there's not much flat of anything. It's all granite and mountains and stuff. So there's not a lot of flat land in New Hampshire. Not a lot of it. It's a lot of mountains and granite. That's what I wear while framing. Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah, I love that stuff. Oh my goodness, those clothes are the bomb. I love those clothes. Hold on 1 second. Oh dear God. You know what? One thing I won't miss about corporate America is blah 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 just shared a story on LinkedIn. Ugh. Gross. Multipolar weather. Very cool. Yeah. Sam Marwood grew up in northern Minnesota. Yep, an hour west of Duluth. Very cool. They shut down schools because the buses wouldn't start. Yeah. That's so true. That's what happens in the super cold markets. That's legit. That's exactly what happens in the super cold markets. One of my plumbers couldn't come help last night. His materials truck wouldn't start. No joke. No joke. That's kind of crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yep, it's nuts. That I hope it never gets that cold again. It hurt. It was painful. We've been up for days and it's been a rough go of it, but you know what? It's a couple of days. It's fine. We'll be done with it. Thankfully it's February. This whole week is supposed to be in the 30s and 40s. So it's downright balmy. I might even break out some shorts. But yeah, it's really good. Yeah, so it's just way too cold. But yeah, so we got so for those of you who are in the course, you guys are doing great. You're making awesome progress. I love what I'm seeing. You guys will get a special announcement this week on a special gift that I've designed for you. I think you guys are doing a great job. As we kind of close out the show, does anybody in the course want to not share anything, but you can be honest. Are you getting better? Is it making you a better landlord? Phil Nealon, we stopped framing at about minus 12. Yep, the compressors act up and the nail guns stop operating. Yeah, no kidding, right? Oh, it's so bad. So bad. I'm a workman. The quick temperature with the winds in the spring are called a Chinook. Yeah. Like the Chinook helicopter. Yep. This is an old Indian word. Yes. Yep. Yeah. A Chinook. Yeah. So my grandpa is Ukrainian and he actually knew Sikorsky helicopters. Yeah. Yep. New Sikorsky. Yep. Phil Nealon. Love the course so far. Mike did a great job editing. I agree. And I love the length of the sessions. Thank you. That was purposefully done that way. I'm really glad you picked up on that. So far, so good with the course. Mastermind group sessions will be the next level. I totally agree. Yep. I think it's going to be good to have you guys have the concepts and what we're talking about. And then we'll just further expand on that. We'll spend that time kind of talking through things, scenarios. We'll talk about your scenarios, legitimately, like what you guys are working on, what you guys want to see, what you guys want to talk about. I'm just making myself available for that time. And like I said, that's limited. I think there's only 18 seats. We'll never allow more than 20, but I think we're 17 or 18 in that section. Ironwood Workman, the warm winds in the spring that came up suddenly are called Chinook. Yep, the Chinook helicopter. Yeah, this is an old Indian word. Yes, sir. Do you trust those Viega progress couplings? Yes. Yep. I do. I do. We started using those probably 5 years ago. I think it was Viegas. I think it was Viegas. Yes. Robert Farinelli, the PhD lecture on knob and tube, that will be an event. I'm pretty sure you're in the boot camp. That's going to be a boot camp thing because I literally bought a house that has knob and tube that I'm not doing. We're actually going to walk through the house with knob and tube with the electrician and have him walk us through it. That's the PhD. Yeah. The ProPress. Yeah. ProPress. I love them. Yep. Yeah. Viega's good stuff. Yeah. I haven't had any issues. It's been really good. Dividend Dave, download section in the course to print, say the checklist you use. Yes. So Harry is the one who does a lot of the admin for Mighty Network. And that's where the course is. It's hosted on Mighty Network. So he has all those documents and I'm putting them all on there, not as PDF. I'm putting them on there as Word. That way, if you guys want to update them or change them and make them more personalized because something different environmental for you, something different like weather-wise, not a problem. So I want to give you that core of what I have. And so all of that stuff will be posted next couple of days. So you'll have all the checklists and they will be in Word format that you guys can use to your heart's content. So yes. Yep. But yeah, the Matt Bittner, thanks for chiming in. Yeah, the Viega stuff's been good for us. We've not had any issues with any of those. There was kind of a fallacy that shark bites pop, like they can pop off a line. It usually means it wasn't installed properly because we use shark bites for 10 or 12 years. My far higher preference is the Viegas. But if you ever look at how hard it is to get a shark bite off a line, if it popped off, it was probably installed improperly. But we have shark bites for emergency purposes as well, just so we can have continuity of service. But yeah, the Viegas stuff, the ProPress stuff, it's awesome. It's awesome. In fact, true point of fact, I looked for the longest. So I ordered one during the pandemic. I ordered one and it got back ordered. And then I finally canceled my order after waiting for 2 months. I ordered another one. It got back ordered. I wasn't going to wait 2 months again. So I canceled it after 2 weeks. I bought one used on eBay, got an amazing deal. And then it got shipped to the wrong address. The guy, I ended up getting a refund from PayPal for it. So then I bought another one. And so that's finally the one that I have now. I've only had it for about a month, my own ProPress, but we've already used it 3 or 4 times. So it's already saved me, $500 in plumber's fees. Yeah. It's already saved me $500 in plumber's fees. So, yeah, huge difference. Scott Coleman, greetings, Mr. Lumberjack. I'm assuming you're doing your show from Mount Washington today. Yeah, Dion outside the cutting wood for you. I would never put Dion out in that. He's too smart. He would never come by if that's what was going to happen. Koa Nguyen. Hi, nice to see you, Koa. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Good to meet you. Ironwood Workman, Phil. Yeah, Minnesota gets cold as well, but it's also a beautiful state. It is. I love the people from Minnesota. I love the people from northern Minnesota. Kind of like once you get outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul. But you'll find that's the way with me in most cases. I don't really like Boston. For a number of years, I went there all the time, and then I used to fly out of there all the time. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a huge city guy. Get out of here and go get some sleep, buddy. Yeah, thanks, CJ. Definitely. It's definitely in the cards. Definitely need to go get some sleep. Sorry about my bad spelling, typos, Ironwood Workman. This is what happens when I watch TV on the show on the big TV. I get it. The phrase Minnesota nice is for real. It really is. Yeah. And the cold New Hampshire asshole is it's true too. It's much more masshole, which is Massachusetts. So they call them massholes all around all the states. We all call them massholes. And New Hampshire is they come across as standoffish, but they'll give you the shirt off their back and they'll bring you into their house and they'll feed you. I really like I love my state. There's really good people here, but you know what? It's also a product of environment, and they like having me around. I like having them around. And so it kind of works out pretty well, and I like it. It's good. Thanks for the live. Take care. Angel, you're welcome. Paul Jensen, Lumberjack. I'm not a great stock trader yet, and I'm debating internally if I should sell my substantial stock investments and put into more housing units. I already have 15 units now, houses and fourplexes. I like that. I mean, Paul, I think it's important to be diversified, but you're taking what I'm saying. I'm not diversified. I'm not diversified at all. I have almost no money in the market. The way that I'm exposed to the market, and I use the word exposed, is through a employee plan. So I'm not really exposed. I think I might have a stock, maybe two. Honestly, I don't even look at my portfolio. I don't care. I bought them and they're there for 100 years. Doesn't matter. I bought them very specifically for a very specific reason. But yeah, I think diversification is important. I think self-directed, I know that there's like self-directed IRAs, and you can take a loan against those, or you can even self-direct it for real estate investment. I think that if you've proven you got a great model and it makes a whole lot more money than stocks, the way that I viewed it, and this isn't financial advice at all, but the way that I viewed it, it was very much, I want to bet on me. I don't want to bet on somebody else. And if I'm betting on a house, it's up to me to operate. It's up to me to manage it. It's up to me to put good tenants in there. It's up for me to take care of things. That's more on me. I'm not looking to ever have to sell though and get the money out of them. For me, it's about creating a cash flow engine. And right now that runs like my, Huracan that I want to buy. It runs really well. It was really funny. On paper last month, we lost money. Why do we lose money? Because we spent well into the six figures on doing projects. Now, we invested that money in making more units that are going to give us a higher return. So that's where I would tell you is that for me, I just like betting on me, and it's a whole lot better of a bet, because if I lose it, if I make the mistake, then it's on me. If I buy some stock that I got lied to, like on a stock, like the public got lied to, they were found being fraudulent, that they hadn't wrapped up contracts that they said they wrapped, their price jumped, and I got screwed. And then the price went in the toilet. And then they were months away from being delisted. So I lost thousands and thousands of dollars that way. I don't have to worry about the house disappearing. If I have insurance, if I've done the right thing, done the right process, have tenants, have insurance, paying the bills, blah, 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 then I'm going to be fine. That's largely the story. Let's see. Koa, I live in Boston. I love your channel. I learn a lot and plan on closing my number 4 this week. Congratulations. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. I love hearing that. That's great. Good job. And thanks for watching the channel. We always love that. Paul Jensen, but it's better to be really good at one thing than a jack of all trades. So very interesting. Most people don't know that the jack of all trades is actually jack of all trades, but master of none. Jack of all trades is better than a master of one. That's actually the whole saying. You can look it up. And that's a big deal, because I bring in guys that are, the riches are in the niches. That's one thing that I say too. Riches are in the niches. And so if you find a niche and you can become a master at that, then you can likely get rich. However, there are guys that are worth a lot of money to me, and they get paid as such because they do multiple things. There are other people that refuse and poo-poo and won't do, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. And so they're specialized. So that just means that I can use them for that. The question is occurrence. How often does that happen? Happen very often. But for me, yeah. So jack of all trades, but jack of all trades, but master of none, or master of none. But it's better to be than a master of one. I think, pretty sure that's how it goes. But yeah, you guys can look that up. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Phil Nealon. It still happens. I see it when I visit my parents. Yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah. It's good people. Phil, I would have been a 7th truck that pulled up. Yeah, exactly. That's the automatic transfer all the way, Hyder. Yep. So true. Yep. I never look at my brokerage accounts. Yeah. I just don't look at them. And it's so little of money. it's thousands of dollars, but it's still a little of money. I don't focus on it. I'm focused on running my business and spending time with my family and hanging out with you guys. Onward Workman. I drove a tractor trailer over the road. Wow. For about 1,000,000 miles back in the day. Wow. That's awesome. Phil, that's great. Happy that some good old America's still around. There is. You'll find it not in the cities. You'll find it usually an hour outside the cities, and it gets pretty good. Koa, thank you for all your works and what you did helping people like me. I'm happy to help you. I watched almost all videos during at work. Well, let's not tell the boss that. But I'm glad. That's what I do this. I do it for you guys. YouTubers that want to poo-poo and whatever, I just don't care. Like, they need the YouTube money to make money to have a job. I don't need it. I do it. I asked for the smaller super chats because it pushes it out. Sorry. I'm watching too much hockey, watching too much NHL Network. Hoot. And I got a good friend we call him extremely Canadian. But I do this to help out you guys. I love it. I love that we can help you guys. I didn't want to do a course. I was getting hammered on by my friends. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. And it was hard. It was hard to put it together and really rack my brain for months over what I thought could be the most valuable to you. And I hope that we did that. I hope that we did make a great course for you guys, and we're going to add to it, make it better. But I hope what we put out there was really good in the beginning to start. Phil Nealon, heck yeah, Matt called it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's so true. So true. Away from the cities. It's hard not to look at it when it's millions. Yeah, that's why I feel like it's making me a poorer landlord. Yeah, Paul, I mean, I get that. Yeah, for sure. I think that I see it. Yeah, I get that. I really made a conscious effort to not have my time being competed with other things. And so I really wanted to get into something, become elite at it, and then get better. Let's see the next plumber update. I'm a little bit scared. I got to be honest. Tricky had to solder. There was one that he had to solder. Oh no. No. Oh, I get it. Interesting. He's got his son that works with him, and he's so good. They're both so good. Like, his dad taught him so well, and he definitely listened. He's so good. Phil Nealon, I used to listen to this live while making sandwiches at the local Fred Meyer Deli until I got so many side job offers I couldn't work weekends there anymore. Yeah, so I found a guy who was working weekends in a grocery store, and he was like, yeah, I can't work this weekend, or yeah, I can't work. And I used to just take it. And then I finally said, dude, what is your other job that you're doing? He goes, I work in a Whole Foods store. I was like, are you nuts? He goes, what? I go, do you love it? He goes, do I love working in the Whole Foods? I go, yeah. Do you love working in the Whole Foods? He goes, no. I go, then why do you do it? He goes, well, it's an extra, $100 a week or whatever. I was like, how much do you work there? He's like, I don't know, 6-7 hours. Dude, no, I need you working for me 6 or 8 hours a week, and I will pay you much better. And I did. And so he started working for me, and yeah, he's a great guy, and talent wasted because he's a skilled tradesman. So we're excited that hopefully we'll be adding him to the team. Yeah, exactly. Concentrate, Paul, turn that M into many MMs. Yeah. I mean, I never share numbers, as you guys know, but we have lots of M's. So the idea is to go from so I remember when we were so poor that we didn't have a comma. And then I remember when we first got a comma, and I really remember the first time I got the second comma. That was a big moment. And then I remember when we went double digits after the second comma, or before the second comma. Guys, this is a big number. 137 units self-managed. It's a big number. And I do flips on top of that, but not many. You guys can get there. There's no doubt in my mind. That's why I did the course, because I thought if I could take the time, put in the effort and the energy, and if I could make a course that could help get you through the path faster with making fewer mistakes, I knew that that could change people's lives. And that's why I did the course. Only reason for 401k employer match. Yeah. So I negotiated with my employer that I didn't want to match. I said, I want you to put in the match, but I don't want to put any money in the funding. And they're like, what? You can't do that. I was like, well, I mean, sure I can. I was like, you're matching everybody else. And I was like, and if you really care about my retirement, I'll show you better returns on my own investments. So we went back and forth, but that was a negotiation. So they contribute to my 401 and I don't match. So I get free 3.5%. Like I max. Yeah, my boss at the deli actually asked me to leave so I could work for her on the side. Nice. Paul Jensen. I'm also spread out as a farmer. Yep. And have 2 rental houses on the farm. So I feel like selling the stock would at least let me focus on just farming and landlording. Yeah. That's the thing, is like, you're entrepreneurial. And so you're growing and you do the farming, you do the landlording. It's just something that then steals your time and steals your attention. And if you can be in something that you feel comfortable, that you don't have to look, watch, monitor any of that stuff, then I think that's a little bit different. But if it's something where you're actively having to look at it, manage it, watch it, you're really looking for growth and trying to do that strategy. Heck, there are people that do that all day long and they still lose money. So that's where I think I think the good idea is, oh, feels like a heat wave. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Oh, parent teacher conference tomorrow. My son got his second report card. It was interesting. He did really well. I was kind of excited. Ironwood Workman. I second that. Lumberjack. I'm very happy I found you and the other guys. We're glad to have you. I've always been curious to hear both sides of the story. Thank you to all the Jelly Ben Mala guys in the chat. Yeah, right. I love it. I like Ben Mala. I think he's great, but yeah, he's getting his ass kicked right now with interest rates. And I'm glad that he shares it. He's being honest. We have debt that we have some debt that resets next year, but it's less than 6% of the portfolio. So it's going to reset. It's going to reset high, and I don't care. We might even just pay off the property. Sierra Smith, excuse me while I inform my husband he needs to negotiate that match situation with his employer. Yeah, so true. You can totally do that. You just need to be prepared. Hyder knows. Hyder is probably one of the best legal minds that I've ever talked to, and he's not even an attorney, but he understands the law and he digs deep in case law. And so it's really just about understanding the case law. Let's see. So yeah, so it's that's that. Let's see. Retired, and my second job is self-managing 16 rentals. Right. Bank teller asks, I thought you were retired. Where does all this deposits come from? Keith Hager, I love it. Right. So we have a great relationship with our bank. We see them 15 times a month. And we do that on purpose, just so you know. You don't have to see your bank 15 times a month, but we do the lollipop for the kids, and they all know who we are. And so we need something, when we need to notarize something, or when we need to, meet with the bank about, or when I need to get I've opened up a bank account online, like with my local bank. And she did all the work for me. I just sent her an email saying, hey, she's like, I just need this one thing. I was like, okay. It was like one signature. I signed it. She sent it back. She set up everything. She's like, here's all your account numbers. I put it in your online profile. Everything's taken care of. Relationships matter. Relationships matter. Paul Jensen. The course is a good start, I think. Yep. Keith, how old were you when you retired? Let's see. Tom Kine, should I get in my next rental or invest in the course? Well, here's what I can tell you. The course is $1,000. If you find your next rental property for $1,000 that gives you any sort of return, I would look at that next rental. However, if you want to get more money out of your existing rentals and more money out of your future rentals, there's no doubt in my mind that the course will do that. I'm interested. Does anybody think that's taken the course so far? I know that there's a bunch of people that left. Do any of you that have taken the course, holy cow, Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. He's all done. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. So that building is all set. So we are up and live again in that building. Good. So guys, if you're in the course and you've taken at least 25% of the course, not if you just taken one module, if you've taken 25% of the course, at least, do you believe that you will make more money off your rentals based on what you learned in the course so far? And I want honest answers. If the answer is no, I want to know. I want to know why. An asset for every expense. So true. Damn, Lumberjack, your thumbnail fooled me. I thought it was a music channel that we put on for our dogs when we leave. Hey, your dogs just got a really good rental education. They're welcome. Probably thought they were tripping. Scott Coleman, non-real estate question. What is a good sales job for software, computers, etc. on sales or in general, in your opinion? Thank you. I would be looking at AI, anything in AI, anything for any company in AI. Yep. AI is going to be a huge part of the future. I'm in automation now. And automation is important and it's good, but AI is killer. AI is killer. AI is going to be a massive job stealer over the course of the next 20 years when it gets really good. So AI isn't the answer for everything, obviously. I'm not like this big proponent of AI. I just understand how AI works. I've been working with automation and AI product for 15 years. So it's something I really understand really well. And so AI is going to be a game changer as it gets more easy to implement and as it gets more reliable to lean on. And AI won't be able to get me in my cabin in the woods. Keith Hager, retired real estate broker 16 years ago, bought one rental a year after, open heart, 70. Keith, man, congratulations, dude. That's awesome. That's so good. That's good. REI, ha ha ha. And by the way, your recipe is good, just not fast or easy. That's good. You can have one of the two, right, Phil? Keith, wow, where are you? Yeah, cool. I love when you guys talk together. Hyder, case law is key as it is how the law has been interpreted, therefore setting precedents. Correct. And that's the key is you can talk about an example of where it's used, and then they'll look at that opinion and look at the law that was, or the decision that was rendered. So yeah, that's why it's so important when you go through these big deals. So New Hampshire defeated rental control 18-1. Suck it. We defeated having to basically having to post in a state database what our rent rates were every year. That got defeated 16-3. Suck it. So you live in a state that we're good. We'll take care of ourselves. We'll manage the business. We'll look at the free market. And we don't want your stupid overreaching law. So I love that. Keith, Phil Nealon, what's weird is I'm not worried about AI owning my units or framing for my customers. That's exactly right. So I'm in IT. The sales part of things, largely when you're talking about an enterprise sale where it's dynamic and complex and you have 30 points of contact and then you have implementation and things like that. That's likely not going to go away. A lot of engineering stuff will go by the wayside because there's a way that you can basically, model out engineering with mathematics. However, it's the lower paying jobs are the ones that they go after. That's the ones. And so there's still a massive skills gap in the market, but people should be jumping into the trades right now like no one's business. No one's business. I know a kid that I helped buy a house. He's 25 years old. He just got his journeyman's license in electrical. His union pays him $58 an hour. When he gets laid off, he still gets laid off and he has money. But yeah, trades, union or not. I'm not going to talk about that, union or not, but skilled trades. Because when the economy gets rough, guess what? If you have a skilled trade, you still have something that can trade labor for food. Because everybody will need that one. You need that stuff. REI centers. So the course you can join anytime. The boot camp is what fills up. So the course is available, but the boot camp is what fills up. So the course is about 28, 29 lessons or 30. I think it's Yeah, 28 lessons, 27, 28 lessons. It's 11 modules. And you can join that anytime. You can take it at your own pace. You can watch the videos as you want. You can take your notes. You can use the checklist. You can use the form letters that I created. Obviously just run those past attorneys and things like that. But that gives you the core. That way they're just reading it and going, okay, yeah, cool. That works with our state law. Or no, you have to change this one thing about it because of our state law, something like that. And so that's what will help you. Yes. Yes is my answer. So, yes, you can join anytime you want. And it's really just the boot camp that's done separately. And you can do the boot camp anytime you want in the first year. Because the course, it's basically you sign up for the course, you're in the course, you get access to that for the year. You get access to it forever if you do the, there's like a subscription after the first year, but the first year is, I figure after a year, you've watched as many times as you want, seeing the additional content that we'll add, and then figure out if you want to renew a subscription. It's not that expensive. I think it's like $25 a month or something like that after that, but that's the core. That's kind of where we start. Dividend Dave, make you a moderator. Yeah, I'll make you a moderator, dude. You're here all the time. Yes, yes, yes. There you go. You can be Hyder's backup. Jumping in the shower. Congratulations, Hyder. Phil Nealon. I'm a nuclear engineer and I started working for a friend up here because I wanted to learn how houses are built to better self-manage. Nuclear engineer. That's pretty awesome. I love that. Very cool. All right. We just gone over 2 hours. C. Williams is in the course. Yes, yes, yes. Honestly, Jordan Harmon, have you ever done rent by the room? So yes, I have. I don't like it. But the way that I do it is different because many things are not rent by the room, or they can't be in your state, depending on the rules and the laws. And so because of that, because of the rules and the laws, you have to do what's called joint and several liability and having them all sign one lease. It makes it more difficult to manage. We've had a couple of instances, but I don't like rent by the room. You can sometimes get more money, sometimes you can't, but I much rather have a group of friends come together and rent a place. And that's really much more of a focus. That's what we talk about in the student housing piece. And we have one last piece to bring you on the student housing. We had an issue with the video. I had to re-record it. Yeah. So that's in process. Let's see. Ironwood. I might be a good guy to go to ask. Phil, my family is built everything from the new River Gorge Bridge, yep, to largest walking drag line in the world to develop in 40 acres of houses at a time. If you have any questions. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I might be a good guy to ask. Yeah, definitely. My problem is that I've been very good at building stuff, but I've not been very good at making money. Yeah, I should have gone into buying and holding real estate a long time ago. So there's a lot of amazing guys that make a lot of money selling real estate or wholesaling real estate or whatever. The problem that I've always told them is you stop making money the minute you stop working. And that's the difference. I knew very early on that I didn't want to work a bunch, get a house really nice and make a bunch of money on one transaction and then have to go do it again and do it again and do it again. Cause all I was going to do was replace my job. I didn't want to do that. I wanted a different thing. So now I have a different thing. And when you build it up over 20 years, I guarantee Ironwood Workman's built a lot of amazing product. I guarantee he's probably made millions of dollars in the process. But you stop making that money when you stop doing the work. And in this case, you don't. You can always, if we decided ever that it's like, yeah, I don't want to self-manage anymore. I'm not going to insource my management. I literally want to never hear from another tenant ever again. And I never want to talk to another contractor again. I never want to do any of it. I could literally just call up a property manager and go, here you go. And we'd still make plenty of money to live our life. I just refuse to give them more than half my money or even half my money. Phil Nealon, holy cow, Ironwood. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. It is. Antoine, is your wife part of the course? Looking for a course my wife can relate to. Antoine, that's a great question. She definitely will be on some of the boot camps. She definitely will be. Just to give perspective. So yeah, she definitely will be in some of the boot camps. There will be, I don't like splitting up like guys and girls thing because I think that good work is good work, whether it's from a PP or from a VV. I'm such a 5-year-old. But yeah, she will be part of some of the boot camps because she manages some of those parts of the business. So yeah, I actually haven't advertised that at all. My bad. Yeah, she absolutely will be. We're working. Phil, the largest crane in the world is called the Big Muskie. It had a 250 yard bucket. Holy crap. When it was new, it was built in Ohio. Ask me how I know to laugh out loud. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's awesome. You're 100% right about making a lot of money, Lumberjack, but I've lost a lot of money as well. Construction is very risky business. It is. And that's the thing is like you were subject to the market, right? Same thing as the stock market. Interest rates high, jobs disappearing, bad economy, good economy. You can't properly time that stuff because a lot of those developments are 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in planning and work and development and getting it done and getting it sold. And so for me, it's creating assets on literally the day I close. That's now an asset that's cash producing. And that's what I've built. That's what I built. And that's why for me, I don't have to do anything to raise rents. The market will raise them for me. I don't have to sell the houses. I just have to be properly capitalized with 30-year fixed rate debt. And so long as I just handle my business, there is more than enough money, probably more money than I'll ever spend when we just get to operational phase, when we aren't acquiring anything more and we're only operational. I don't know that that will ever happen. But we don't ever need to worry about it. And if we ever need to sell an asset because we need a few $100,000 for some reason, we can sell an asset, not a big deal. But that cash engine, I got offered money for one of my properties off market and they offered me the number and I said, absolutely not. And they're like, that was fast. And I go, your math is horrible. Why would I give up an asset that's going to make that in 2 years? Nope. At least give me a multiple like you're buying a company, not like you're just buying a house. But that was the way it went. So I'm convinced my current GC boss man to start doing Matt's thing years ago. Awesome. He bought land, bought a number when Simon said so. Lumber. Yep. And is building his first 4 units this summer. That's so awesome. I'm so pumped to hear that. David Yang, should I get a 30-year or 50-year roof shingles? Look at the price difference. The thing is that will that company still be around in 50 years? Will that installer be around in 50 years? Nope. I would just look at it, look at the number difference. If it's negligible, yeah. If it's not negligible, nah. No, because the 30-year arc shingles, if they were installed properly, I have roofs that have arc shingles on them that are getting up to that age. No issues whatsoever. I'm not going to have to replace them at 30 years. No way. They might be 40, but if I'm going to get 40 years out of a $12,000 job, right? As an example, what are we really talking about? We're talking about $300 a year. So you're talking about $25 a month. But then if you look at inflation adjusted and all this other stuff, right? It's like pennies on the dollar. It's nothing. But yeah, I would say look at the numbers, compare the two. And I would look at the 30, look at the 50, but when they warranty, you need to be asking the questions. Okay, that's great. So this company is going to warranty it. Great. What happens in 25 years or 30 years when something is malfunctioned, right? So the way that they base those 30 and 50-year items is based on the thickness of the material and based on, it being tested and saying, yeah, we believe that this one will last 50 years. But let's say that thing starts failing. Well, that company goes out of business, then what good's the warranty? It's not, right? And nobody's going to buy a company that has a big liability of a bunch of roofs that they know have started to go bad. And so the 30 years is more standard, but yeah, I would look at the numbers. I mean, I've seen some 50-year roofs be 50% more expensive. Why would I do that? I'd rather buy the 30 and know that I've got the 30 and that I'm good there. But then just make sure you understand the warranty and then how, if you were making a claim, what that would look like. That's your best position. How can AI help in your rental business? Yeah, exactly. I think that I'm exploring that because I'm an RPA technology guy. So I'm exploring that. I think what I've seen so far is it can help from a customer service relationship perspective. And you can kind of, walk that out. And then it could also basically automate the process of alerting a tradesman that something has to be done. So I think you can get to that, but that's where I think my approach of insourcing property management is going to be critical, because AI, the artificial intelligence, is based on what intelligence it was given. So if you give all the intelligence that you have to the AI, then it can answer any question. Because how would it know about a house? It would give you best practices of what it found on the web, but specifically about your house. This is the value of property management insourcing. That's why I believe in the next 3 to 5 years that will be a separate course by itself that people will pay a lot of money for, because that's going to be what's going to take out a lot of these horrible property managers. And if you ever want to see a bad property manager, and I'm not picking on you, Doc, RE3 or Wandering Doc, not picking on you. I know you've had a hell of a go of it. I'm telling you, property management insourcing is the way to go, and it will absolutely save you giving up 8% of your money. And if you're making 16, you're giving half. If you're making 12, you're giving more than 60% of your money to somebody else to receive a phone call. And I have come up with a methodology that allows people to be able to manage their own properties and drastically reduce the cost. Phil Nealon, what do you think about that? I know Phil spent a lot of time in just that piece of the course, because we've talked a little bit about it, but I'm interested to get your thoughts. Paul Jensen, Keith, my 2 quickest nap put down ever. Nice dividend, Dave. That's awesome. What roofing shingles do you like? Gaff shingles? Which shingle companies? Icon, Gaff, they're all pretty much alike. Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're both fine. 30. It's really getting it to the 30-year spec. What you really want is somebody that's like a certified installer of that. They're far more likely to get a warranty honored. Phil Nealon, heck yeah. So he's saying heck yeah on insourcing PM is one of the most valuable parts of the course. I agree. That alone, I believe, could save you, if you have any number of units, I believe that alone could probably save you $5,000 to $10,000 a year, even if you're a small holder. Why don't we as landlords aggregate our rentals into a property management together? So the biggest issue with that, Keith or Tom, is state laws. So I've been exploring that with a couple of really large vendors. The problem is they like to do it a different way. And I've shown them how. I've looked at their cost model. I won't tell them how I do it because it's my competitive advantage, but I've seen their model and seen how they do it. And their model is extremely expensive. It's very costly. So I believe what I'm teaching in the course is actually the best way to manage your properties and drastically reduce your costs. I believe that. Let's see. No space and names. Oh yeah. Gotcha. Cool. That's cool. All right, guys. I've had an awesome time with you guys today. Thanks so much for spending time and hanging out. Believe it or not, I have more tenant calls I got to make just to follow up with folks and make sure they know they're good. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. If you're in the course, thank you so much for trusting me and jumping in the course and getting experience. Use the chat. I look at it every single day without fail, literally without fail. I look at the chat every day and I want to see what you guys are talking with about each other, what we can do to get better, and things that we can improve on, because I know that this will be the best course ever offered on becoming an operator of your rental properties. But I really appreciate you guys. It's always a blast hanging out with you, even though I don't get to have bidirectional conversation. I feel like I get to with doing the chat. So if you're in the course, stay tuned for messages this week. Lots of fun stuff coming. The specific to boot camp, and specifically if you're in the just regular course without boot camp, lots of things coming. So I appreciate you guys. Dion talk more tenant calls in this live than I had in January. Dion, those weren't tenant calls. It was actually the contractor fixing things. But yes, it was close. But bye guys. Have so much fun. I appreciate you. Have an awesome week and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Oh, and hit the like button if you haven't already. 60 likes, 71 people concurrently watching. Come on, people. All right. See you guys.